Okay, everyone. So, double parasha, Huqat-Balaq. Huqat is a very eventful parasha, but we're going to talk about something in Parashat Balaq instead. You know, Mashiach, which is a critical topic and tenet of belief in our religion. In fact, it's one of the 13 Ikarei Emunah that the Rambam lists. It's one of the beliefs that a Jew must have faith in the coming of a leader called Mashiach in a messianic time. And it is also, because of that, one of the types of faith that if a person is wrongful and in his life with intent, not for lack of knowledge, does not have faith in that idea and that belief, a person is liable to Chas v'Shalom, to lose his portion in the world to come. The Rambam talks about Mashiach extensively in a few different sources in the Rambam, in Halachot Teshubah, in Halachot Melachim. We're not going to go into that right now. But it's fascinating just to observe where is Mashiach spoken about in our Torah. There's an explicit mentioning by HaKadosh Baruch Hu all the way at the end of the Torah in Parashat Yisabim, which is the third to last parasha, the fourth to last, third to last parasha in the Torah. Fourth to last, sorry. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu there does speak about Moshe Rabbeinu as a messenger of Hashem, does speak about the times in Acharit Hayamim, in the distant future, and alludes to certain events that will come. That's the most explicit discussion there is from Hashem or his prophet Moshe Rabbeinu to Am Yisrael about Mashiach. Of course, Yaakov Abinu alluded it. He referenced and hinted to Mashiach in his so-called berachot to his children, and also Zota Berachat, last parasha of the Torah, Moshe Rabbeinu and his berachot alludes to it as well. However, the first and in some ways most explicit discussion in the Torah about Mashiach, it's a very direct discussion, is uttered by none other than Bilam Harasha. And it's fascinating to think about that HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose to reveal to us facts about this future messianic time, one of the critical underpinnings of our faith, through a Gentile. And I'll conclude actually with trying to resolve that and discuss the choice of Hashem, why we have to see this through the eyes of a Gentile. But start off by mentioning that if you're going to choose a Gentile, I think that Bilam, who is a Gentile prophet, he operated differently than the prophets of Israel, but certainly he had a mode of communication with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he conveyed that communication to, as we see in this parasha, to Balak, and through the Torah to us. This prophet, Bilam, I believe, is the ultimate choice of a Gentile to convey to us the ideas of Mashiach, and here's why, in my opinion. If you think about it, you need objectivity. You want to talk about Acharit Hayamim, the end of days, days of redemption, messianic time. You need to be objective. It needs to be coming from a place that is not at all skewed and biased based on someone's other beliefs, religious beliefs, and based on some others' aspirations and hopes into how the future will look, rather a really objective and absolute view of this. If you think about it, no one in modern times, let's say, from the other two major religions in the world, or any religion that has ever been, well, we can relate to Christianity and Islam, would be qualified to speak about these future times. Other major religions have an agenda. Other major religions really, you can say, are always out to validate themselves as being the authentic and true religion. And that is because, at least in terms of Christianity and Islam, they both emanate, as we know, from Judaism. And they openly admit such things. Historically speaking, Christianity, in many of their religious modes of observance, all emanates from Judaism. And therefore, those religions, you can always find themselves on the defensive. They're always trying to validate themselves and their authenticity. And therefore, and their authenticity cannot be proven. And it's almost based on, in a funny way, on the future. In other words, what will occur in the future will retroactively prove and validate that they, all this time, were the authentic and true movement. So they rely so much on what the future holds. Of course, you can't prove what the future holds. You can just make declarations and statements and refer to texts to try to, so to speak, prove it. But yet, ironically, their authenticity is going to be based on what happens in the future. So when they speak about future times, messianic times, they can't really be objective because they have to speak of it in terms of what events will then, in retrospect, authenticate them as being the true religion. So you can't choose really peoples of other religions. Kadosh Baruch Hu chose instead someone who's completely objective. Bil'am. Bil'am answers to no one. He's not part of a religion. He's not part of a movement. In fact, others seek him out for blessings, for vision, for guidance, for hocus pocus. And you can say in a way that Bil'am is almost his own religion. He's his own God. He believes in a God, but he is his own deity. He's everything. And therefore, he's not threatened by anybody at all. Not threatened. He doesn't have to answer. He doesn't have to validate himself, certainly, because he's automatically validated by everyone's soliciting his services. And he's authentic. He's as authentic as can be. He's the perfect choice. He really exhibits the ultimate objectivity. And therefore, Kadosh Baruch Hu, my opinion, chose him to reveal to us critical facts about our future times and about Messianic times in our Mashiach. Let's look at some Pesukim and speak about that objectivity and that honesty, and then talk about a little bit about what he revealed to us, and then perhaps at the end, answer the question as to why a Gentile to begin with. So I shall share with you these Pesukim, and here we are. A Gentile perspective. Bil'am, as I said, has, in my opinion, the ultimate objectivity, and there is a quote on top from his first. He had 3 declarations of prophecy and then an additional one on his own. 3 were by the request of Balak and then 1 on his own. This is the first one. And the first one, Bil'am reveals to us in a very innocent way, as he peers to Am Yisrael and has a vision of the future messianic vision, he reveals to us a desire of his. He says, Tamot nafshi mot yesharim, uthi achariti kamohu. May I die the death of the forthright, of the pure, of the honest, of the simple, of the perfect. Pick your definition of yesharim, referring to the Jewish people, and let my end be like his. Let my end be like theirs. Now, of course, the Yesharim, first of all, referring to the Avot. Sefer Bereshit is called Sefer HaYashar. The Avot are referred to in the Navi several times as the Yesharim. And by extension, the Yesharim is us, Am Yisrael. Bil'am sees in his vision the destiny of Am Yisrael, our future redemption, our Mashiach, perhaps our Tahayat HaMetin, our resurrection, perhaps Olam Haba. And he proclaims so honestly that I would like to die their death. I would like to share in their destiny. I would like to be able to end up where they're going to end up. And of course, he's referring to Ramban there, which I won't read, but says that they will be those who inherit Gan Eden, because after our end, the end of a normal human being is death. And besides the fact that Rambam says that Hasidei Umot HaOlam, the righteous of the Gentiles, have a portion of Olam Haba, but they don't automatically merit to be here in times of Mashiach. They certainly don't merit in the revival of the dead. And Bil'am saw this. And so innocently and so purely did he say, you know what? I want a piece of that action. I'd like to have what they have. I want to meet their fate. I'd like to share in their destiny. Only someone who's really objective can look and say, no, it's not my vision. It's not my made up, painted picture of what Messianic times will look like. It's real. I see it. It's there. I'd like to share it. I'd like to be part of it. You see his objectivity really shining through. And you see also in the first, I'll go a little lower there, in the first, so to speak, prophecy of his, he speaks about Am Yisrael, Hen Am Lebadad Liyishkon, Ubagoyim Lo Yithashab. This nation will dwell in an isolated, alone manner, meaning, whether that's speaking about the future or not, that's a question. But he's referring to the character and the status of Am Yisrael. The Jewish people are unique. The Jewish people are speaking about our separateness. He's referring to our chosenness from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's acknowledging that. Lebadad Yishkon. I brought you some cross-reference there, where there says number 3, source 3. There's from Parashat Ha'azinu. Hashem refers to us in the famous song of the ages, Ha'azinu. Adonai Badad Yanhenu. Moshe Rabbeinu says, Hashem through Moshe Rabbeinu, that Badad Yanhenu, God will leave them to be alone, unique, isolated, on a pedestal, so to speak. And there in Zota Beracha, Moshe Rabbeinu himself, Yayiskon Yisrael Betach Badad, alone. That same adjective is used by Bil'am to describe Am Yisrael in a very honest and objective manner. They're different. They're separate. They're chosen. Lo Yithashav, they're not counted among the nations. There is a pool and a list of nations of the world. And then there's these people. They're very different, I have to tell you. He exclaims through prophecy and to Balak, and by extension to us and to the world. These people are excluded from the counting and the list and pool of the nations of the world. This is a chosen nation, he says so innocently. And so you see really his objectivity and why he's the perfect choice of Gentiles, among Gentiles at least, to reveal Mashiach to us. Let's look at a couple of the Pesukim, and this comes really at the end, after his first 3, so to speak, prophecies. That number 7 there should not say Devarim, it should say Bimidbar. And Balak got really frustrated at him. I hired you to curse the people, you're blessing them instead. And Balaam at the end says, you know what the heck, I'm just going to do my own thing right now. And I'm going to advise you, and you see in there in Pasuk Yudal, he advises Balak, what will happen, what will this nation do into the rest of the world, Ba'aharit hayamim, and that certainly is referring to the future. And without any critical analysis, we're just going to touch upon some of these Pesukim that do refer to the times of Mashiach, Pesukim Yud Zayin, Yud Het, Yud Tet there in the bold green, and just glean a couple of nice ideas that Bil'am is revealing to us about our future times. And you see that, let me pull this down a little more. Okay, let's dive right in. So he says, Pasuk Yud Zayin in the bold, Er'enu velo ata, ashurenu velo karob. I say it. It's not immediate. I have a vision of it. It's not that close. So right there, you really see a lot of honesty coming from Bilam. By the way, the next three Pesukim among commentators are definitely have a dose of Mashiach in them. Some of them say it's also referring to the short-term Mashiach, David HaMelech, and the future Messianic times. David HaMelech segueing into Messianic times, only Messianic times, but certainly referring to Messianic times. And here he says, I see these times, they're not so close. Now, even HaKadosh Baruch Hu never really told us when our Acharit Hayamim, when the end of days and the final redemptions would be. Hashem only spoke to us in terms of action and reaction, in terms of cause and effect and consequences. Like, if you don't follow me, this will be the consequence, then you'll be in an exile, then this will happen, but there will still be, he says, in the Torah and through the prophets, a messianic and a future time of redemption. But it was always a stipulation. It was never, this is when it's happening. And here Bil'am says, without an exact date, we got a while. He's telling us so honestly, right here and now in the desert. I'm trying to tell you, but you got a while. I see it. It's there. It's before my eyes. Wait. Darach kochav mi Yaakov v'kam shevet mi Yisrael. It's going to be a shooting star. It's going to be someone unique, described to us in Yeshaya and Zechariah and other Nevi'im, by the Rambam and other commentators, who this unique leader will be. It will be from a special tribe in Israel. We know it to be Yehuda. We know it to be descendant of David HaMelech. He's alluding to that right now. And then he alludes to in Pesukim Yud-Het and Yud-Het, our domination, Pasuk Yud-Het, Vayer me Yaakov, Vehevi Sarid Me'ir. We will be a dominant people. We will be one who then the other nations will be subservient to, and we will be that leading force of the world in the future times. There's a lot of comprehensive analysis that we should be done in these Pesukim. That's not what we're going to do this morning. I just wanted to give you a taste of what the revelation that Bil'am is offering us about these times of Mashiach, worth analyzing on your own. But last word is, I told you why I think Bil'am is the ultimate choice of a Gentile. If God is to choose a Gentile, and he did. But my question is, why did he choose a Gentile? Why not just choose a Jew? Choose a Jew, choose a prophet. Heck, choose Moshe Rabbeinu to reveal to us the magic of our future destiny of Messianic times. And my answer is as follows. You need to have somebody speaking through a lens of wishing, of hoping, of saying, it can only be me. We need, for the sake of our faith, to hear from someone who says so honestly that I know your destiny, I understand what your fate is going to be, but I can't have it. I want it. We need to hear the yearning of an outsider, the perspective of an outsider who envisions this era of peace and prosperity and knowledge of God, etc., but won't be able to have what we have, and yet craves it and wants to share in it. We need someone that's going to tempt us, someone to make us feel how fortunate we have to merit those times. Only an outsider can offer such a perspective. Only an outsider can make us feel that we are so fortunate to be able to look forward to such a true, real destiny of redemption in our future. And it's really in all of our futures, as we'll experience the Hayat HaMetim, and all good, righteous Jews in our entire history, including us and our generation, will share in those times. But for them to come, we have to yearn. And for us to yearn, we have to really want them. We want to break out of our current status. It has to be our goal. It has to be our ultimate, believe it's our ultimate destiny. And to help us get there, we need someone who envies that status, someone who craves that status as an outsider, but can't and won't have it exactly the way we will have it. That tempts us, that whets our palate, that gives us pride in being able to exclusively and uniquely have that destiny. And that perhaps is why HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose a Gentile, an outsider, to reveal to us the first revelation of Mashiach in our Torah, so that we can also share in that craving, share in that yearning, and really want those days to come. B'mhera b'yameinu, amen. Baruch Adonai le'olam.